Hey, everybody. How are
What's
we doing?
up?
I love it. Will, it's good to see you. How you been?
Good to see you too, man. I've been doing pretty good. Like we have loads of Trek to talk about. I'm too excited, man. How are you doing?
I'm well. I'm well. This is episode 4, Trekker's Delight cast of characters. We will have a little bonus question at the end, but we're going to be discussing what it would be like if the hosts of Trekker's Delight were actually uh, different characters from Star Trek. Are you
Mm.
ready, Will?
I'm here for this. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Welcome back. Welcome back. Thank you, William, for joining me today. How are you today, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing real good. Work was okay. I'm feeling all right. I stood on the scale this morning and learned that I'm down to 250 and even 250 pounds from the 316 that I came down from. So I'm actually
Wow.
very, very happy about that. That just made my day already. And I was like, okay, let's go to work and get these steps in. Let's go, let's go, let's go. But
That's so
yeah,
great.
but I really wanted to rock the Geno at work.
Yeah, that's so great, man. So great when you're on a journey like that. And its own what if, actually. Like, what if I lost this weight? And then the steps that you take in order to get there, which once you have a routine is like much better to sort of follow. So
It's,
I'm really
yeah.
proud of you, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm doing well. Just ticking along and trying to absorb all the Trek that's kind of out there right now. And
Yeah.
it's really like there's so much hotness, like with Prodigy. The ideas
Mm,
there. I can't wait for Lower Deck, Strange New Worlds, maybe Section 31 if we're lucky. But the
maybe
lineup
if
just
we're
came
lucky.
out. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Michael
Yes.
just dropped the lineup, and I saw it in the Discord chat. So
Cool. Also, I must say, I love your apartment.
thanks, man.
I've actually never seen it from that angle before.
Yes, I've been recording from this angle recently, just so that it has more of a like a
Uh,
spacious.
yeah, a right, a perspective type thing,
Yeah.
right? And
So
it's beautiful.
thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi, man. That's how we
Okay.
roll. So welcome today to the fourth episode of What If, and one of the ideas that came out of our previous conversation, which is very interesting as an idea, William, was what if each of us, as the host, the main host, were a character from Star Trek? What qualities would you ascribe us, and how would you? So, what I'd like to do today is to sort of go back and forth between all of us and sort of describe like how each of us would be as a Star Trek character. I'll throw
Right.
up some pictures, like as we go along with that, if I can find them, and just to sort of delineate like how we see each other as hosts, what characteristics we bring forward, and why we see each other that way. So I'll
Right.
throw it to you if you'd like to start it off with any one of us.
I
Marie,
want to start.
Jermaine,
I
me.
want to start with you.
Start with me.
Like, bro, you give like okay. When we first met, you gave me like Troy vibes. But then as I got to know you, you gave me Flux vibes.
Okay.
And I'm here for this. I
Thank
love
you.
it
Thank you.
because like you're a scientist and every scientist from almost every Trek show, medical or sciences, they had blue.
Mm-hmm.
And you look pretty blue right now.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
this not to mention, well, yeah, of course, the scientist part, and I feel like Phlox had his teaching moments too, and
Definitely.
you're a teacher, so
Thank you.
I felt that as well. There are moments where, all right, let's put it this way, um, if I may be so bold, you live quite literally on the other side of the planet.
Yes.
Phlox and T'Pol were the only aliens on Enterprise NX-01. So a lot of the time they felt alone, even though they were helping a lot of the crew.
Yeah.
You are helping a lot of Trekkers Delight in many different ways,
Thank you.
not just verbally, obviously. So it kind of gave me a lot of, and then you definitely have your moments. Um, I'll speak on this very lightly, so then we'll move on in
It's
conversation.
all good. It's all good.
I remember saying in the beginning, I don't ever want to be there when Manny is mad. And the day finally came because I had it was in my spirit, and I was just like, he's gonna be mad because I'm gonna tell him something that's gonna make him mad, and I
Mm,
did, I did. More specifically about Robin's passing, which, guys, is going to be an F2P episode much later on with the Voyager
okay.
episode. So tune into that one. We're going to dive into the injustices of the medical system and how it treats minorities. But anyway,
Yeah.
um, yeah, his first words he said to me when I told him were, "This was preventable." So I am, yeah, and he's right. He's right. So which reminded me of Phlox in that sense when his face would get like all puffer fishy type. Is he a fish? But yeah, definitely
Denobulan fish.
the Denobulan definitely
Thank
seemed
you.
different.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, man. I mean, I agree with you. I think, he was definitely a fish out of water. He went on an adventure. He is confident when he needs to, but he's also timid as a,
Hmm.
he has the bedside manner. He's almost
Right.
like a guerrilla scientist. Like
Almost. Yeah.
yeah, he's like putting together a bunch of stuff. And
Hmm.
so, yes, thank you so much. I do identify with Phlox in terms of like the medical guys and the fact that he goes on these other adventures and so forth outside of his own species to
Right.
in the medical exchange and stuff. So I
Which,
always did, yeah.
yeah. Oh, and one more thing. This literally just came to my head. Um, in terms of you running your own show, what if and Opposite Treks, which Opposite Treks is our newest show. Be sure to watch. It's freaking good. Watch it.
Thank you.
Um, you reminded me with What If and Opposite Treks. You reminded me of Saru
Oh, thank you, man. I love Saru.
because he Saru takes command when
Yeah.
need be. He is
Yes.
why he has the wisest words of all. Of all. Like, yeah, Burnham's the main character, but Saru has the wisest words, which I pray they do not kill him off. I hope that it's just like someone else that, like,
Me
yeah,
too.
yeah, like, I don't know. I'm not gonna wish
I
death
don't
on
want to
anyone.
wish anyone. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
want to wish
No.
anyone, but it cannot be Saru. It cannot
Yeah.
be Saru. Like, let it be that kid that was crying in the last, which I
Yes.
still hate, by the way.
Yeah. I know. I know. I feel bad, but
I'm like,
yes,
come
kill that
on.
plot.
So,
Thank you, man. I didn't
yeah,
mean to make
definitely.
this all about me, and I know you picked me
Well,
first,
I
but
mean,
like that's very
and
kind. Thank you.
what? And here's the thing: it literally just came to me. Like, it literally
Yeah,
just came to me, the Saru part, because it's like, even in production meetings, you say the wisest words.
it's kind.
Even on repeat, you say the same thing in five different ways, but each one is more profound than the next.
Oh, that's overwhelmingly kind, man, and generous. Thank you.
So that's how I view you. So,
I appreciate the no, man.
hmm
thank you
hmm
so much, and
yeah,
those very kind words. But I'm gonna move on, and
yes,
as quid pro quo, I'm going to do William Wofford next. That'll be my choice for you.
okay.
Now you have self-described many times, and now I see it. But I'm going to bring up a little picture here of uh, of Deanna Troy. Deanna Troy.
That's my girl.
That's right. You are the heart. You keep the heart beating. You keep us sort of flowing, and you listen. easily to all of us, and you have that excitement, that joie de vivre, which is really nice, and you have that empathy that she shares, which is really great. You also kind of keep your stuff to yourself and you help others. You only let your pain out when you need to and stuff. And that's yeah. No, that's
Yeah.
I see the counseling part of it. Like I see that. So yes, I definitely resonate. But I also see you in like
Okay.
other ways. Like you're also a creator. Like you create stuff. So I could
Okay.
see you more almost, and I don't mean this in a mean way, but like
No, 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 no. Go ahead.
a bit of a like Will Wheaton, or like like a
Ooh.
crusher.
Yeah, because I know how to
A
crush things and I know how to save the ship and not be appreciated for it.
you're often scooping us up with like good ideas, and like your aesthetic is like always on point, the way that you create stuff. So your tactics remind me of him because he tends to come up with an elegant solution. That's
Yeah.
there's an elegance to it. So even just
Oh,
like this, the text here of like what if and stuff like that, the thoughtfulness that you put into the show and the editing and stuff like that, it takes time. Like so it's appreciated and it's definitely reflected. So I would say yes, I see Troy, but I also see like if I'm thinking like throughout the whole universe as well, like there's definitely like a creation vibe to what you're doing because you're also creating these pieces for us. Um, there's patience, there's understanding. You've had loss, you've had grief, you've had challenges, and you're very young still. And you harp on the fact that you're young, but that's why also I thought of Wesley Crusher.
you know, you're not far off because and I'm in it. In the beginning of the show, I then and now, skipping over Robin's tenure, I was the youngest one. So I enjoyed viewing myself as Wesley, as Jake, as Nog. Because now, when it comes to the creativity and the solutions, I do kind of see that in Wesley. When it comes to the struggle, when it comes to becoming more than where you come from, I see Nog.
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
was like,
I get
wow.
that.
So I definitely see the Wesley part, and it's like he's like a young Scotty almost, where
Yeah,
he just like what and we got Jordy and every other engineer telling him he's wrong, and then he
yeah,
saves the ship like 5 times.
very much. He just goes into that storeroom and just stacks everything up and just surprises you every time with like even though his demeanor wouldn't betray how actually efficient he is. I see the nog. I see that angle. Yes, that is exactly how you are as well. So
Thank you.
yes, I do see that. There's a lot. There's an amalgam there for you.
Okay, yeah.
Um, yeah, I so that's my impression of you, and it's definitely one of empathy and good humor, good favor, but also one that's struggled and works to help others with their struggles.
Right. So let's do Marie.
Mm. So where are you
That
gonna take this with Marie?
oh, if you're watching
I'll
the
tell you
video,
where I'll take it, but I want you to start. The water. I have to have a classic water. I'll take a sip too. Mm.
all right,
Marie. Marie Brownhill.
Dr. Pulaski. I'm sorry, Marie. Yeah. Manny, you actually mentioned earlier that she gives you Pulaski vibes. Can you
Mhm.
explain why in your own way?
She is business in the front, you know what I mean? She's having a good time, but she's and with that wry smile and whatever, but she is super knowledgeable in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I never got that from like Dr. Crusher the same way. Pulaski, I mean, a lot of people hate on Pulaski, but
Well,
um,
initially because she kind of did data wrong a little bit. Like
yes, and they wrote that in like as a
they
throwaway
they tried
comment
to
or
make her
whatever.
a female Bones. You know.
Sure, and so I see that also in Marie. That's a really good way to put it as a female Bones. I never
Oh
thought
yeah,
about that, but
she
yeah,
hated using the transporter. She hated it. Like
that's right. She has
yeah,
that wry sort of,
yeah.
but she's
But
brilliant.
but
Yeah,
it's not to say that Marie had any racist tendencies, not at all. But
no,
she had a bit of a intellectual stubbornness to her that is beneficial to the group. So
agreed.
So because Pulaski, well, I've noticed in season two that Pulaski didn't really become part of the Trek family until the episode where Data beat that one guy in that finger game,
Absolutely.
and I she was smiling and laughing and with Data instead of looking at him like a machine when he really
Hmm.
is an android, another life form. But she knows her stuff. She knows her.
Yes. Which is so the episode that reminds me of Marie for Pulaski is the episode with the clinical trial, the one where Worf breaks his back, and then they bring in the other doctor lady, and Pulaski's the one that remains ethical and has a legal and ethical good, and that's Marie all over, the legal and
Okay.
ethical good. She
Okay.
like, you know what I mean? She stands up to her colleague
Right.
and accuses her, and I can see Marie totally doing that, like in the moment,
Absolutely.
just yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
She's a badass.
I'm here for this. Yeah, because I wonder whatever happened to Pulaski after season two. I know they brought Crusher back, but like I wonder where her path took her to. Like, are we gonna see a piece of her in Lower Decks?
That's
Like,
interesting. I never thought of actually revisiting Pulaski.
because she was there, you know.
Yeah, even like Crusher. Like I know a lot of people liked Crusher, and she was interesting. Um, Now that I've become an adult, I find Pulaski just as interesting, whereas I never used to think of her as being as interesting. I just wanted Crusher back. I just wanted Dr. Crusher
We
back the
all
whole time.
did. We all did.
Yeah,
Yeah, because even though this was 20, 30 years ago for me before I was even born, I'm watching this and I'm like, who are you and why did you say that to Data? I do not like you. You're mean. But then halfway through season two, I started to like her. I was like, all right, cool, 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 cool.
yeah,
But
yeah,
we all know the background of what happened with Crusher's character and Gates McFadden. But we know that if I'm not mistaken, I believe Crusher becomes head of Starfleet Medical.
yeah.
Some in
Eventually,
Nemesis, yeah. I don't know which part of Nemesis, but at some point in Nemesis, she's become head. So we know that's happened there. But just like we see other TNG Trek sub characters in Lower Decks,
yeah, yeah.
um, do we know what? I mean, they have a statue of Miles O'Brien. Like,
I love it.
so I don't know if the
In
and
Lower
forgive me,
Decks, yeah.
I don't know if the actress for I doubt it, but I don't know if the actress for Dr. Pulaski is still living. Um,
Oh, maybe she isn't.
I don't know. Oh God, now I have to
I
look this
forget
up.
her name.
I forgot. I don't know her name either.
That's
Let's
okay.
do Dr. Pulaski. Let's look you up. Hello, Doc. How you doing? What's
Played by
happening?
Diane Muldaur, and she is still alive.
Still
Born
alive.
1965. Yeah, looking good too.
She's still here.
So she is around, and she was in the TOS era as well. Like she
That's
was
what I'm saying. She
alongside.
was in the
Yeah.
TOS era, so I guess well, Will Shatner's still here, so it's like, yeah. So, and she must have been younger than William Shatner when she played that role. Um,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
had to have been
Well, Shatner's super old now.
right,
She's born in 65. Shatner's born in like the 30s.
something like that, because he's in his
Yeah.
90s right now.
Maybe like the 40s. Yeah. So she's
So she
15,
must have been in
20
the
years
last
older.
season. She had to have been in the last season
Yeah, that makes
at some
sense.
point. But okay, so Pulaski intellectual tendencies for Marie, as far as her sporadic sassiness, this is my shocked face. Um, and saying the right things or the crazy things at the right times, or what could be deemed the wrong times. I don't know. She gives me female Q wife vibes, like just like the power this woman
Hmm.
has.
Hmm.
Like, never mind that. What are you doing with that dog?
Hmm.
I'm not talking about the puppy. I am
Yeah.
so. Oh my goodness. But what do you think about what's your opinion about the character of Q's wife to Marie as far as like exuberant personalities go?
She's great. She came in and she just was like cracking wise, putting the male Q in his place,
Mm,
and what are you doing with these people? And just like whatever, like just immediately like saying, "Come on, you're better than this." Like we
right.
raising them up, basically. Like stop
Yeah.
fooling around and like yeah. So it has like mommy vibes, which I think that
Right.
Marie's kind of self-described like having mommy vibes recently, and she can't
Mhm.
help it. And yeah, so I would say like she has this hands on hips look, this sassy.
I feel like she would put her hands on her. If you, me,
Yes.
and Jermaine were doing something Trek stupid, she'd be
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's so true. So she's definitely, and so here in the picture even, and I grabbed it, like she's got hands on hips.
"Ah, that's
Um,
definitely Marie."
and I could
Like,
see that. Even Kalar, like which is the other character, the Klingon character,
oh
that
yeah,
she
oh yeah.
has that sassy kind of look to her. So
And
um
then right back to the intellect where she played as a Vulcan.
oh
Before,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. It was for a little bit. It was for a little bit, but it was like
I
early TNG.
She was also an Endorian on Enterprise.
That's right. She was an
Yeah, she was a
Andorian.
badass. Like a
She was a
she was
badass. I feel like that's Marie on Earth 3.
yeah. So yes, definitely like Marie will chop you down, when
We
you're
love you,
wrong.
Marie.
Love you, Marie. So yes, I see that. I definitely see the female Q vibes. I see the Pulaski for intellectualism, for ethical behavior, whatever, but the
Yeah.
female Q for like
Mm-mm.
just the
And
correction.
and just having her, what does she have? Bourbon or whiskey?
I've heard bourbon.
I've heard bourbon too.
Yeah.
It's definitely bourbon.
Small
And
batch bourbon.
yeah, and the boldness of her to name her children after Trek names, and her husband didn't find out until years later. I think one is named William, and the other
Yes.
one is named Thomas.
Yes, that's right.
No, the middle name is Thomas,
Hmm.
and she
It's
made
brilliant.
that. She I guess she made it seem like it was his idea or something, because these are like European
Classic
esque,
names.
right? Just
Brilliant.
classic names, which is funny because my name is William, so I felt kind of special.
Yeah,
Yeah, and we got to meet them, and she refers to us as like Uncle Will, Uncle Manny, and
that's
Uncle
nice.
Jermaine, which is so sweet.
Very
And
cute.
I forgot her husband's name, but he had a shocked face. I don't know if he wasn't pleased or not. I just knew that he was like, and it's like they're like three now. You can't change it now. It's like
Yeah,
it's a little late for that. Like,
that's okay. It's nice. I think it's a great homage.
yeah,
And the
it's a
kids
great.
grow up, and she has them going on the Star Trek too. She has them
Oh,
watching the Star Trek.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So we got one more left.
One left, the big man.
All right, I'm gonna let you take it for who you think our
Yes.
is gonna be.
So for me, you know, when I say, I mean, there have been descriptions of Jermaine. What I like to see is Geordie LaForge, and
Oh
it's just
yeah,
like he's leaning back. He is helpful. He will listen carefully to all the different thoughtful points, and he will speak when he's like prompted. And he usually has the weight to his like voice that like
hmm,
people listen to.
right.
Um, he also is like, not that he shows his exasperation, but I think that Jordy holds in a lot of exasperation. And I think sometimes Jermaine holds in a lot of exasperation.
Oh, absolutely,
He's just like,
absolutely.
I just can't even. I just can't even. And I think like Jordy also does that sometimes where he just walks away. When he's like with Reg, like Reg, we try our best.
Like it's like you see how much Jordy is trying with
He's
Reg,
trying.
and you see how much Jermaine is trying with us.
Yes.
So we're not calling anyone's name out specifically. I'm just gonna say us, but
Yes.
I've seen and heard moments where Jermaine, and he was just not happy.
Hmm.
And it reminded me, and just now when you said it, because he does hold in a lot, and we're not giving away any details, but he does hold in a lot. And when he releases, it's one big release.
It's
It
true.
reminded me of that episode where Jordy stood up to that female doctor that was on the holodeck when
Oh
she came
yeah,
and saw the hologram of herself.
that's right.
Now, now people compare that episode to erasing your porn history, but Jordy was
I've
honestly
never even
getting
thought
work
about that.
done. He was honestly getting work done. And if you had a hologram and and you never met her a day in your life, don't even know if she's alive or not, wouldn't you modify him or her to your personality's characteristics so you could work with them better?
That's
Where
funny.
so she comes and sees herself at the wrong time.
Yeah,
And I'm sorry, Jordy, I tried.
it's just egg on his face. Yeah,
And the way Jordy said, "Hold on," and like stopped her from walking out the room, I was like, "Yes, Daddy."
it is rare for Jordy to be like in an embarrassing situation, even though like he was. For some reason, they wrote him as like not a ladies' man, like he wasn't successful in relationships till he had that
I mean,
like
I get
yeah.
that he was originally supposed to be the gay character on
Oh, I didn't know that.
PG. Oh yeah, oh yes, he was originally meant to be the gay character on.
Really?
Yes, yes, that is what Gene Roddenberry wanted. But
Huh?
it was one of those things, just like in TOS, where he had to pick
They
and
weren't
choose his
ready.
battles, and they wouldn't let it fly. They wouldn't let the show. I don't know if it was the show as a whole, but I don't know if they would have let his character. His character would have probably canceled the show in season one for all we know. We don't
Right.
know, but
And he
because I was like, I get everyone is wearing tidy whities in season one and two, but Jordy's is abnormally tight, tight, tight. Like I can see the curvature in his patoot. Like so I can kind of see the if you want to call him that, it's not lore, it's not canon, but in season one, I could see like the bisexuality to him, especially in how he walks. But he's still an officer and he gets the job done at the helm because he was at the helm in season one,
yeah, yeah. He was only a lieutenant
right,
or
right,
lieutenant, whatever.
right.
Crazy
I,
American.
th- I think they interchange the words throughout Star Trek depending on the show.
Now I
But
could see Jermaine eventually being like, as we call him sometimes, captain. You have Captain the
oh
Forge here.
yes, absolutely.
You know, he's just sitting back going, okay, we don't need to play around. Why don't you just come right
Right.
back? Just sort of like collect you back in and like take care of you. And like, this is the scene from when he was on the Challenger in Voyager, I believe, with Admiral
Because
Janeway.
we do see him be a captain.
Yeah. And he's seen a lot at this point, and
Like
he's not
like Nemesis has already happened. Like Troy and Riker already got married. This is years. This is actually if this were canon into Picard, this would happen 5 years before Picard.
right.
I think. No.
Yeah,
About 10 years before Picard started
something like that.
in that
Definitely.
area. In that area.
Mm-hmm, because it would have
But
been like 25, 30 years later,
right,
at
exactly.
least.
But but as far as Jermaine being captain of the show, no, it's like that's how it's like. Okay, Jordy, the challenger, boom, because it's nice to see another captain of color, especially one of African American descent. So that's definitely Jermaine, all hands down. And I, I also got to say this: Jermaine has this meme face. He has this resting bitch face, and he likes to sleep a lot. This is how this compares to Geordie or LeVar Burton. LeVar Burton could not see out of those visors.
Yeah,
About 70 to 80% of his vision was blocked. It was literally blocked. And then whenever he was at the helm or whenever he was somewhere sitting down, he was actually sleeping.
really.
He was sleeping. If it was a scene where they're like in the conference room,
Yeah, he
or
was just like
he's just like he's asleep.
fascinating.
He actually admitted he admitted that way after the show ended.
That makes sense. No one
Right.
sees his eyes, and they have really long days on the
And
set.
they have like 16-hour days.
Super like long days.
So it makes perfect sense. So that gives me Jermaine vibes all day long.
I've heard Marie describe Jermaine as Miles O'Brien.
Miles. What do you think her reason is for Miles O'Brien?
I mean, he's sweet natured. He loves to fix problems.
Right.
He's he's like the good guy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he's a stand up guy. He
Mm.
also cracks wise, and he minds his business. You know, and he likes to have like a good time, but he also like works really hard. And I don't know. That's my guess as to why she keeps
That-
calling him Miles O'Brien.
What would your personal take would be between Miles O'Brien and
And
Jermaine?
LaForge? No, for sure, LaForge.
Well, it's for sure before, because I'll tell you something. I think Miles O'Brien, from what you described to me as Miles O'Brien, connects more so with our Brian on the show
Oh yeah,
because he keeps to himself.
that's true.
He's admittedly had some, I believe, is it mental or
Yeah,
psychological issues,
yeah,
which,
like some PTSD.
which, which Miles O'Brien has
Yes,
loads, a
yes.
whole
Many
plethora,
they
a
torture that
plethora,
guy. Oh my god.
a plethora
The Cardassians, bloody
of
Cardis.
Cardassians. The mental prison they put him in.
Yeah, my god.
Um, oh, the war that he fought in
Yeah,
that he only talks about 3 times.
yeah.
Um, he
Setlik
might
three.
even when he talks about the Cardis,
Yeah,
which is a racist term if you think about it.
agreed.
It's like, and I'm not in no way saying Brian is racist, but when it comes to different opinions, everyone on the show has different opinions. That myself, you, me, Mom, Marie, everyone, Brian included. So Miles O'Brien was definitely one of those ones that had a different opinion that differed from the masses because I didn't know anyone else that fought in that war or had near as much PTSD as he did.
Yeah,
Other than Picard. So maybe Cisco, maybe from the death of his wife.
yeah.
But even then, he didn't spend no 50 years in no mental prison either. Like,
Right.
so and Brian knows, not unlike Brandon, but knows a lot of his technology.
Yes, it's true.
So I
He
give
can
Miles.
cite it. Oh
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I get that. Yeah, I could
yeah,
see that.
he,
More of a Miles
yeah. He
O'Brien.
gets real excited. So I give Miles O'Brien to Brian. That's who I give
Nice.
to. Yeah,
That's great.
definitely engineering.
Okay, so I think that wraps up. Is there more?
Oh, we were segueing Q's wife into our
That's
Q
right.
and hard actually.
Yes. So the next question that we would like to ask specifically is, how has Q changed? So we are seeing John Delancey in the news, and he is doing interviews about his new season of Picard, which is coming out
Right,
in February,
right.
and some of the things that he has described. So, William, what do you think about Q? What are some of the changes that we can expect to see in this new season?
Um, Whenever I watch a sequel of something, okay, for starters, the only other than Tremors, the only perfect sequel I've ever seen that had a gap of more than a decade that was absolutely perfect was Finding Dory. That was absolutely
Huh.
perfect. I say that because watching Picard, Patrick Stewart made it clear this is
Yeah.
not Next Generation. So, and I appreciate that warning. I do,
Right.
because that prepares me for what's coming up. So
Hmm.
if this is not the same, and Picard is an old man, well in his 90s, um, then it stands to reason that Q will change as well.
Right.
So just like there were judges judging Q and his son and
Hmm.
Voyager, I think Q has leveled up to become one of those judges in the
Hmm.
continuum. Because I won't say in the beginning, but when he and Picard met, he was childish. He was childish. And his son, and Void Q Jr., was childish on Voyager as well, like father, like son. Well, we know that time passes differently, no different than heaven, hell, or earth. Time passes differently in the Q continuum, beyond human comprehension. So, what could be minutes to us could be years to them.
Sure.
So, let's just say hypothetically, 10 million Earth years have passed in the Q continuum. Now he sees Picard, misses him. It's probably been that long. It's probably been that long. Now we've learned that in Lower Decks, Q makes his appearances, and I believe Lower Decks takes place after Voyager. So we do get to see Q in Lower Decks.
Yes,
So he didn't just fall off. He didn't just disappear after Voyager. We actually get to see him, and
that's right.
apparently he is known throughout the Federation to tease all of them. It's not just the
Hmm.
Enterprise. He sticks around on the Enterprise, but he teases all the ships, and especially the Enterprise stuff. So there must have been at some point he stopped coming. Something must have happened, and he
In Discovery, they say it's been over 400 years or something since they last saw him.
since they lost it. Yes, yes. So something has happened, and I think he either matured, and I'm using that word very lightly, or leveled up. Which is why John Delancey said this is not the same Q that you know of.
Right.
So that's what I'm thinking.
He's
Because
not
this,
going to. Yeah.
yeah, go ahead, yeah.
No, no. This is the anything is possible. Like he's truly an embodiment of what if. With a snap of his fingers, he can change the. He is a Deus ex machina. Yeah, exactly. He has
Mm-hmm.
the powers or the ability to just change anything at will. So so many elements of Picard that have been laid down that have to do with like the synthetics and the AI and whatever. Remember, the ongoing conversation with Q is about evolution and the trial of humanity and where humanity is going. And personally, I believe that one of the reasons that Q is so interested in humanity is maybe that they're eventually on track to becoming Q.
Which
That's
is with the one where he turns Riker into a Q because he admits that in the future they will become something more than the Q continuum.
right. And Wesley Crusher is an example of that. Someone who became something more. There was an
Right.
emergent, right? He's one of those
With the travel.
Beethovens, like a traveler, right? And when they went to that dimension where their thoughts became reality and stuff like that, or they came to a different galaxy or something.
Or when he
So
brought his mother back from the space bubble, or not the
yeah,
space,
yeah.
the
No,
alter.
there is that one, but there's also the one where the traveler takes them to like a different galaxy. They're like 2.5 galaxies over or something,
Mm.
and it's a
Where no man
realm.
has gone, where no man has gone before,
Yeah.
which is
So
wow. Personal theory about that last jump that they did when they were like in that cloud and there was like a bunch of sparkling, they were using their imagination. I think they broke through the observable universe, the observable.
maybe
I think they did because they had already passed all the universes.
that's possible. If
So
it was a different universe, it makes sense that the laws of physics are different. Even having like a character like Q could be that
right,
he's yeah. So all of that examples could happen and stuff. So
yeah,
um, this isn't the same Q. I mean, it's the same character, but it's not the same Q. I'm gonna pull up a picture here of
okay.
Q uh, putting Picard through his paces when he
He
died.
he
Yeah,
constantly tests Picard, constantly.
yeah. So
The
there's this
Rob
ongoing
the death.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's this ongoing thing about Picard that Q finds fascinating.
Mhm.
And maybe now that we can retcon it or whatever, Picard is a synth, right? Like if they for some reason deactivated his like senescence part, he could go on to live forever. He could be 1,000. Like if they disabled the part of him that will like naturally die.
It's possible. But we're also take into account that we find out in Discovery that his syntheticism does not last very long.
Right.
So I think because Q still has his childish moments, even though I'm trying to remember this is not the same Q. If I were to take this Q from TNG and put him in Picard, I would treat Picard like Pinocchio, which is what originally Riker compared Data to when he first met him. So he'll make some bearded Riker joke and said about Pop Goes the Weasel when he was in the tree, and he might take him back to that same tree and encounter at Farpoint. And then he said, if you want to become a real boy, you got to do this. And then he snaps him back to the 21st century.
Huh.
I feel like that goes in line. And then whatever task has to be done is what has to be done in order for A, to save humanity again. And two, because it's always to save the humanity. Every Star Trek is save humanity or the galaxy. But we learn in All Good Things that it is not unlike Q to send them back wherever they need to go.
Right.
You know? Because
I
want to know, and then I swear I'm done right after this.
No,
what I want to know is, what did he say to Picard? Or what was he going to say to Picard in All Good Things when Picard asked him, what is it you're trying to tell me? I'm done.
No, all of that is great, man. All of that is great. What if there is some like breakthrough that Picard makes in like consciousness? We're seeing like the AI synth idea. Maybe they'll tie together like the threads of like his TNG life, which kind of led him to being where he is now, with these new existential threats of the synthetics, because that seems to be the overarching theme. But I mean, they could do something like on Discovery where they kind of throw that completely out and take like a left turn or whatever and be like, we didn't really figure that out yet. Maybe they'll deal with it in some other season. But given the pieces that we have, and given Q's nature, and with all these cool new pictures of John Delancey, Q was in the habit of like being a pedantic jerk and snapping his fingers all over the place. And we've seen him interact with other Q, and we've seen him ask TNG for help and Janeway for help, Cisco. He likes interacting with the Federation in a way that like both flexes and shows off his power, but also like asks them to do something, even though he hated human beings. And the interaction that he had with Guinan, like maybe that'll be explained. I've also read that maybe they'll explain that interaction.
I think Guinan is supposed to make an appearance.
Yeah.
Too, because I remember I watched and I'm sure they discussed it in the backstage, but I saw Patrick Stewart ask Whoopi Goldberg on The View, will you come on to the show season 2? She said yes. So maybe we'll find out, what is this? Like, why do they hate each other so much?
Yeah. And what maybe hidden parts of Guinan's species could like stand up to a Q? Like, what about her? Maybe I thought maybe it was because she went to the ribbon. Like maybe there's something there.
It's possible. But I think I just watched a video recently that suggests that Elorians, if lived long enough, actually have a sixth sense. That's something that goes a little bit deeper than empathy. Not empathy, but being empathic like Troy. Like just the gift of knowing. Just like she knew that Tasha was not supposed to be on the Enterprise.
Right. Yes. She seems to have an extrasensory awareness. Yeah.
Yeah. Or even when Soren came in 10 Forward, and she didn't exactly see him, but she sensed him because she had that look.
Yeah.
So
something's not right. Yeah.
Something is not right. So why would Q fear her when he is practically a god? So, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is it about her that someone... Q can eradicate the Borg just like that.
Yeah.
Caused the encounter to happen in the first place, yet the Borg managed to assimilate her home world. Now, granted, she had lived 700 years at that point, but what did she do? Like, so
I feel like these are all like necessary for the... Sorry.
Yeah, please.
For the super early in the morning for me. It's necessary for like the further evolution. Maybe Guinan is out there somewhere, like right now, and she'll be brought in on some cool story point. I could see that.
What if she's still on Earth at that point? Because she was on Earth in that time travel episode. What if she's still there?
Yeah.
And we find out she's been playing as Whoopi Goldberg.
That's as good as any theory, man. That's as
If
good as
they
any
break
theory.
the fourth wall on that, no Trekkie has any right to get mad at that because
No.
that is brilliant. It's brilliant. Like that means Guinan is right here, and she's Whoopi Goldberg, and it is canon. So you
They
can
should approach
go,
with that idea.
yeah, it'd be like, so now you can go ask for Guinan's signature.
Yeah, I bet she does sign it kind of too.
I bet it. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm gonna put a pin in it there. Will, this has been a really great conversation. I'm really happy that we got a chance to discuss these
Likewise.
things. Yeah, it's been
Hmm.
great. Um, and getting to know like some of us as hosts, we've gotten better at like knowing a little bit more about each other and
Hmm.
how we see each other reflected in the Star Trek world. Thank you again for all the kind words, and I hope that you also take it in the same way. And
Thank you.
as we endeavor to sort of like do more in this Trek space, and we grow and we change and whatever, I'm sure we'll also like get to know the people in this space better and be able to do more. And I really am enjoying the vehicle of the what if. So please come back and like talk to us about like any cool like theories that you have in the future. And for those of you who are watching, please remember to like, subscribe, and hit us up on Twitter or Instagram, or hit us in our Discord app. Will, any final words?
Be sure to check into our other shows, just like Manny said, like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to check out Opposite Treks. That is our newest show that we have brought on that will come out every other Tuesday of the month. So be sure to check that out because if you really want to have debatable topics, questionable anything, watch that show and comment below any other topics that you feel like we should debate because I am ready for some debate. I'm here
Yeah,
for it. Like
man,
I just asked my cousin earlier, let's have a Star Wars versus Star Trek debate. Let's finally have it.
interesting.
Like,
Okay,
okay. But anyway, yes,
I'm here
thank you,
for it.
Manny. Thank you for asking
No,
me to come on the show.
of course, no, anytime, Will. Thanks so much. Take care,
Thanks.
bro. Peace.
Bye.